I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma center Gabe Grazier. Gabe, thank you for taking time this evening to come on and talk to me. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Gabe Grazier. I'm from Oologah, Oklahoma. It's a kind of small town north of Tulsa. I've been at UCO since I started my playing college. It's I came to right out of high school, and it's kind of been a blessing. I've gotten to see a lot of good stuff. I've got to see the bad too out of UCO, but I know from a small town, played about everything you could think of growing up. It's kind of what you do in a small town. But no, man, I'm just excited to be on here. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, no problem. Now you mentioned Oologah is a small town outside of Tulsa. And I know we had a player a couple of years ago, Casey Bass. He was recruited as a quarterback, ended up being a long snapper for us. For those that might not know, like how you said it's a small town, but like how else would you describe Oologah?
I mean, I say it's a small town. There's definitely smaller towns. I graduated with, I think it was 84 people, like 84 people. So there's definitely smaller out there, but no, it's just kind of a little country town. It's kind of, it's a highway town. You kind of blink and you're through it. We got one stoplight and it's basically a school and a bunch of houses around it. So it's nice though. It's home. It's where my dad went, where my uncles went. My mom went to a school right next to it. So it's kind of home.
Okay, you said 84 because you now are they 3A?
No, they're 4A now.
4A. Okay.
They should be 3A, but yeah, they're 4A.
4A. Okay, I was about to say because I went to Mount St. Mary's and I think I had like 90 in my graduating class and we were 3A. So okay, I forget about that side. Okay. And now what I found interesting, I guess I had forgotten since it's been a while since I had looked at your high school film. You also play defensive tackle. Now, I normally ask guys that play multiple positions, do they have a preference? Now, which of the two did you enjoy the most? Did you enjoy center or being a defensive tackle?
Man, everyone would tell you offense. Yeah, I mean, coming from a small school, you play both sides of the ball no matter what kind of deal. Like I didn't come off the field until I asked him to come off the field just because I needed a break. But no, you can ask anybody. It's always going to be center. It's always going to be offense. I didn't play where I was. I didn't care where I was at. It's just going to be offense no matter what.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think anybody said defense. I feel like I've asked everybody and no one said defense. Okay. And now, like you mentioned, playing both ways. Now, I imagine playing one way in the trenches is tough. Playing both ways in the trenches has got to be tough, especially for 4 quarters. How did you kind of like mentally prepare yourself, physically prepare yourself to handle that kind of workload?
Yeah, it was kind of just like I didn't have an option. I kind of just had to get in there and get it done. I mean, it's kind of breaks down to that. Like I could either just sit there and kind of be mediocre at it, or I could just just kind of suck it up and just get myself right enough to where I was able to do that. But no, I had good coaches, good friends too, stuff like that. So I had a good support system behind me too. And it all kind of boils back to that. But to answer your question, really, I didn't have an option. I kind of had to. So.
And now, because I feel like most people, when they think of center, I feel like you kind of go unnoticed unless there's a bad snap, and then everybody want to focuses on the center. Now, aside from that, obviously there's much more to it. So, aside from that, what would you say, in your opinion, are some of the biggest challenges of being a center?
If you ask me, center is the hardest offensive line position, but that's just coming from me there because I play it. But no, it's more mental stuff than physical, right? You gotta know the defensive front. You gotta call it out so the rest of the O-line can make their combination calls. Just kind of getting everybody on the same page as far as that goes. Understanding the snap counts just like everybody else. But I mean, you got I say the biggest job on the field. You got to get the play started. It all starts with me, right? So Jett's got to get the ball for me somehow. So I would say it's definitely more mental than physical. It's definitely easier being on the inside because you got guys to the left and right of you to kind of help your back this a little bit. I can tell you the guards kind of saved me a little bit a couple of times last year. But no, it's definitely more mental than physical. You got to be able to read the defense, know the coverages, and just so you can make your combo calls accordingly.
And now, like, how much prep goes into that being able? Because you got to do this all within a 25 second time time window. So like what kind of is the preparation that you do in order to get up there quickly, make these calls, get everybody in the right position, and snap the ball cleanly?
Really, repetition. I mean, it definitely did not come natural by any means. I struggle with that a lot. You can ask Coach Doral or even any offensive linemen that were there when I was there. I mean, I struggled with it off the get-go, just because kind of coming from a place where that really wasn't much involved in college football. It hits you right across the face, and so you really just have to you got to buckle down and really understand what you're doing. But it's just repetition too. Like every Sunday, we'll watch scouting film for hours on a Sunday, just getting ready for the opponent. So when you go into the game, already knowing what you're going to know, you know what to expect, you know what you're going to see, you know what you're going to call out. So from that point, it's just preparation and repetition, knowing that once you do it over and over again, it kind of takes care of itself.
And one thing that I guess I forgot, might not have realized you're doing the prep for this. Now, you also wrestled in high school. Now, I think a couple of your former teammates wrestled, Peyton Scott, Hunter Largent. I think Jack Puckett, your current teammate, also wrestled. They told me some pretty insane stories about having to like cut weight and do all this and this, that, and the third. What was your experience like as a high school wrestler?
Yeah, I mean, I've wrestled my entire life. Like, my dad was a big wrestler. All my family wrestled, stuff like that. So it just kind of came natural. I've actually never played an organized game of basketball. I mean, wrestling season was always during basketball season. So I wrestled literally my entire life. So it was always a big part of it. I wrestled to play football. And wrestling in high school is fun. It's kind of one of those sports where when you're in it, you want to get out of it. When you're out of it, you want to get in it. So it's just, yeah, I kind of miss it every once in a while. But no, wrestling was definitely a huge part of football. And really, it uses a lot. Like I credit a lot of just kind of my body movements and just like being able to be balanced and understanding leverage in different aspects. That definitely all comes from wrestling. So, in my opinion, it's kind of a must-have to be a successful football player. But obviously, people do it without it. So,
and what were some of the challenges that you faced as a wrestler in general, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I wrestled heavyweight, right? So I mean, I didn't have to do much weight cutting. I was kind of the guy. I'd show up eating food to the wrestling tournament. So I didn't have to worry about the weight cutting more or less, but more or less conditioning. I know junior year was kind of a big turning point in my wrestling career. It's when I cut a bunch of weight off. I was getting healthy, feeling good. I actually went plant-based and vegan for 6 months. I cut it like 40-something pounds, super cut and lean. That was the year I ended up placing second at state. I came in as an unseeded guy too. I was unranked, unseeded. Came in, ended up placing second in the state too. So that kind of shocked people. That kind of got my name out there as far as like, okay, this kid, he can wrestle a little bit. And then senior year was kind of like I had a big growth spurt after junior year too. So I had to watch my weight a little bit senior year. Obviously, I played football around that 290, 285 mark, and the cutoff for heavyweight was 285. So as far as like weight challenges, I didn't have much of that, but more or less just kind of like definitely had to get in shape. Definitely had to be in wrestling shape, because you can ask any wrestler. Wrestling shape is like any other shape you'll be in for sure.
And now you mentioned that because I'm glad you mentioned that because like, I think people just think being in shape is being in shape, but there's a difference between being in football shape and wrestling shape. What kind of are the main differences would you say between being in football shape and being in wrestling shape?
Yeah, like I kind of see it as like, imagine this like being flexed, like having your entire body like muscles flexed, just holding it there for extended period of time. Wrestling's a lot of a muscle endurance. I mean, you think of it, you're at a 6-minute match. Like it's only 6 minutes long. It's not like you're running a full football game for 4 quarters, but it's 6 minutes of just like constant body movement, constant going back and forth, and your body's constantly tensed and flexed the entire time. So it's more muscle endurance as far as that goes, and it wears on you way faster.
And so what are some things that you do or did in order to prepare for those very tough 6 minute matches or six minutes?
Really practice. Like we'd start practice immediately after school, and it'd just be rolling around the mat, just you and a partner for 2 hours minimum a day. Like after school, just repetition, just doing it. Like you put yourself in positions you don't want to be in obviously, so you can learn how to work out of those positions. But really, just wrestling. Like really, the only way to get in wrestling shape is just to do it. And obviously, we ran a whole bunch and stuff like that. But no, really, just getting around the mat and rolling around, sweating.
Now they mentioned that you went vegan and plant based for 6 months. What kind of talk about what that was like? Because I mean, I feel like you hear athletes do that all the time, and they mention like how much better they feel. So kind of talk about what that was like.
No, honestly, it was awesome. I kind of put my parents onto it too, so it was easier because they did it with me. So it wasn't like they were cooking something separate for me or something like that. We all did it together as a family, so definitely made that easier. But no, I would say it's a little bit hard for the first couple of weeks, but then just kind of out of nowhere, you kind of just had this feeling of just like you just didn't get tired. Like I just felt like I was a lot more energetic. Just didn't really get tired, not really groggy like that. But it was expensive. I would say. I mean, I would do it now, but I can't afford it. So it's just kind of that's where it's at now. They make healthy food too expensive nowadays.
Facts. Now when you look back on your time at Uga, both as a football player and as a wrestler, what kind of do you take away the most from it, or what sticks out to you the most from it?
Really, just the time, man. Like you kind of look back and you remember all those like game days or the practices or something like that. Really, just hanging out with your friends. I can't really tell you like specific moments and stuff that happens, but when I look back at high school, I mean, it's just nothing but good, right? It's kind of one of those times you wish you can go back to, especially in all the college classes and stuff like that. And I will say high school football practices are definitely much, much easier than college football practices. So you want to go back to that. But no, I mean, I can't really give you a specific time or something like that. It's just nothing but good. Kind of just, you're kind of the guy there. You're just hanging out with your buddies and having a good time.
Now, during the recruiting process, obviously UCO it's stuck out to you. That's where you started to play your college football. What was it? What was it about UCO during that process that made you decide to commit and become a Bronco?
Yeah, so it was really just kind of weighing my options a little bit. Like I had plenty of offers at other schools and stuff like that, but I already knew Coach Doral previously when he was at Abilene Christian. I went down there and did a couple of junior days and some visits and stuff like that when he was at Abilene. So I already had a relationship with him as far as that goes. Like he knew who I was. I knew who he was. And I was actually offered by Coach Bobeck. Coach Bobeck and Coach Green offered me the summer before. So I had a previous UCO offer. I already knew about UCO as a school. So when Coach Doral left Abilene, came to UCO, he obviously honored my offer that UCO already had for me. And I just saw it as the best opportunity. I mean, like Edmond and the school, UCO, it's growing tremendously. The school itself, student body, everything is just, it's growing. I just saw I saw a bright future for me there as far as like, not just only football, but just, I mean, growing as a man in my professional life as far as school goes and stuff like that. So, and man, I just saw the best opportunity there compared to what I had else. So.
Now, so you get to campus and then you go from playing nearly every snap to playing none that first year. Talk about what that redshirt experience was like, going from here you are nearly every down starter, every down on the field, to now you're only seeing the practice field.
Yeah, it'll wake you up a little bit too, because like I mean, a lot of guys will tell you go from being the dude in high school. Like I was the only one on my high school football team to actually go play college football, really to go play any college sport if that. So you kind of just go from being like the top dog to like the no dog. Like you're just another guy in line here. So it was more or less a mental thing, right? Physically, the red shirts, they work out more than anybody else as far as that goes. They're in there trying to get as big, as strong, and fast as they can. So physically, I kind of just blew up as far as that goes. But it was more the mental game, like knowing that it's time for you to take a step back. Like it's time to put the selfishness away and just be there to support your teammates that are obviously out there working. So it was the mental hit more than anything. But
and what was the biggest? I know you just mentioned the mental, but like, is there anything else that was a major adjustment to you going from the high school game to the college game?
Yeah, the speed, like stuff moved a ton faster, especially being at center. I have a lot more responsibility on me in college than I did in high school, right? So I didn't have to do really as much as I'm doing now as far as this like reading defenses and stuff like that. And the game speed was just so much faster because obviously you're playing with better guys, faster guys. Learning a whole different scheme too, learning a whole new offense and plays like that. That definitely took some time to do, but really just the speed of the game. I had to adjust the way I played to fit college football because college football doesn't adjust to how you came in. You have to learn how to play it. So it was really just working on myself, getting my steps faster, my hands faster, being able to move laterally better, just to give myself a fighting chance out there.
And when you mentioned that, like what kind of goes into that, making your steps faster, your drop faster? What did you all do to help with that?
Yeah, we drill all the time. We drill all the time. Even now, the guys will tell you like it almost gets a little too monotonous because Coach Doyle's always got us out there doing the same, fit, fire, finish. Always got the same P&P steps. Like we do the same thing every single day. But I mean, honestly, when you do that every single day, it becomes just second nature. Like now, it feels weird now to take a bad step. Like taking the right steps, it just feels natural now. So it's just constant repetition. It's been like that since I've been here too. So it's just Coach Doyle had us in the corner, just in the corner with the chute, just going crazy under the chute with some bags, just hitting it and working on your steps just constantly. And in high school, I actually went to Trench Mafia. I know some guys mentioned Trench Mafia. It's just it's ran by J.R. Conrad. He's a former OU player, great dude, great godly guy. And I did that for, going a couple years, year, 2.5 years, something like that, all through high school. And that really changed my game as an offensive lineman too. Because you kind of just became, in high school, I was just bigger and stronger than a lot of people, so I could get away with blocking them in certain ways. But I didn't know exactly like how to be an offensive lineman. So doing that my sophomore year, going into my junior year, that kind of really started kind of molding me into how an offensive lineman should play and how it should be. And that got me more prepared for college football. But then obviously when you go in there, Coach Doyle wants his stuff done a certain way. He wants to run his O-line a certain way, wants to take certain steps, do certain things. So just kind of adjusting to what he gave me after that was what I needed to do. And he did a great job by just having us out there doing it every single day for hours on end. So that's just what it took to kind of get where I needed to be.
And so after the redshirt season, now we go on to 2023, and I think there were three centers ahead of you. I know there was Lane, there was Kellen, and then I think there was Walker Peck. I think I felt like he played center some that year. I could be wrong, but I know you were still kind of further down on that depth chart. So entering the season, did you feel like you would be able to carve out playing time, or did you think that maybe you would just have to wait for another year before really being able to kind of show what you can do on the football field?
As far as redshirt year, I kind of had in my mind I was going to redshirt. Just physically, I needed it. This is gonna be my 4th year of college, and I'm still 20 years old. So I mean, I'm still a young cat as far as the age goes. So I knew I needed the red shirt. I needed to develop a little bit. Now after that, it was going to be playing time. So like I was done my red shirt year, and it was time to start playing on the field. So I ended up working back to the 2s on the depth chart as far as that goes. But no, as far as red shirt year and stuff like that, I knew it was time to take a back seat and just kind of work on my game, make sure I was getting ready enough. But once that red shirt freshman year hit, it's time to play.
And I believe your first game was the 59-17 win over Lincoln. Talk about what kind of were you going through when your number was finally called and you stepped out there for the first time in a collegiate football game?
Yeah, it was just cool. Like it was the first time we played football in over a year. Like I got to take an actual snap versus another team. So it was more or less just kind of just taking it in. I was just having fun with it, right? It's just obviously we're beating the brakes off of Lincoln, so it doesn't really matter as far as that goes. So it's just enjoying the moment, having fun. Now I did get to my first play in college football was against Central Missouri at Central Missouri, my redshirt freshman year, and we were getting beat pretty bad. So coach decided to put the 2s in, and I was only in there for like 3 3 or 4 snaps just right at the end of the game. But that was kind of the real, like, this is cool. That was just like being your first snaps. It was just cool.
And then in the Lincoln game, that the two that put up, I know a couple of touchdowns because I think Peyton Scott had one. What did that do for you, confidence wise? Knowing here you got put into the game, the offense didn't fall off, you still were able to move the ball, score touchdowns. What did that do for you?
Like you kind of said, it's confidence, right? It's just kind of understanding that, like, you do have what it takes to play the game. Like, everybody else is on the same boat you are. Like, what all the nerves that they're feeling the exact same thing. They're the same age as you. They're not any different than you are. And so it's just kind of like, okay, you can do this. Because, like, when you're just watching from the outside, it's kind of intimidating, right? It's just, you've never done something like that before. But it was more or less just like, all right, like, I got this kind of deal. Like, I can hang with the best of them kind of thing.
And then you also played in the finale against Pitt. Now, I wanted to ask about that because I talked to some guys and they felt like that was the turning point because there had been an uneven season up until that point. And that Pitt State, I don't think anybody really gave us a chance in that football game. And we nearly won that football game. After that, like I was told that, like, it really hammered home that, okay, like we can really do this if we clean some things up. What was it about that Pitt game that really, like, shifted things that kind of helped you all make the run that you did this past season?
Yeah, that Pitt game, we were just playing free. Like, we knew we had nothing to lose. You talking about the one last game of the season at Pitt? Yeah, we had nothing to lose that game. Like, we're going on the road. We're at their house. They're kind of they're the top dog, so to say. We're just there to play another football game. So everybody from the get-go was just like, we're just here to have fun. We're going to go play loose. We're going to play fast, physical, and just really just shoot our shot. And obviously you can see what it's like when we just kind of loosen up a little bit and don't play on the ropes a little bit and just kind of do our thing. I mean, it showed for sure. Like that I felt like we were in that entire game.
And now, because I'd be lying to you if I said I had forgot you were a center, because at Media Day last year, when Coach Doyle had mentioned that he had you playing center, I was like, well, what was he game a guard? But then it's been a few years since you had since I had watched your film on Uga, so I'm like, because I know Lane graduated and Kellen left and then Walker left. I'm like, oh, we have no centers at the moment. So when he said that, I was like, okay, this is interesting. I forgot it was a center. And then come the Langston game, I think it was you and Reese. I feel like we're alternating there. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talk about going from like a bag up to now you're getting thrust into possibly playing one of the most important positions on the football field.
Yeah, so that kind of that redshirt freshman year, we had Kellen at center, and had a hole at guard, so I knew it was just kind of I was next up in line. Like I was sitting there battling with Kellen at center, but I mean, I trusted myself enough to where if I needed to work for position, I was definitely going to work for that position. But there's a hole at guard, and coach put me there to fill it, kind of deal, and so I just kind of switched my mentality. It's no different as far as you're just not throwing the ball between your legs off the snap, but no, kind of going back to center just kind of felt like home. Lane was always a good mentor to me, kind of like he kind of really mentored me and got me started as far as just kind of like transitioning from that high school kid to a college athlete. So I kind of credit a little bit of that to him. He got me ready for that kind of start. And going to the Langston game, being the starter, it was already kind of predetermined. Like we didn't really have a set second center. Cameron Brannicky, he's the second center right now, and he was still a young cat at the time. So Coach Doyle wanted to give Reese some reps at center just to make sure he could play it if he needed to. Because Reese was going to get a lot of guard reps too. He was kind of going to be a lot of guard reps, rotate a lot at guard. So that's what was going to be his main position there. And then he wanted to get him some center reps just to make sure he could play it if he needed to. And Reese did a good job in Langston game and stuff like that. But I had it in my head I was going to be the starter no matter what. Like I was going to make sure of it as far as just working at it. So.
I'm gonna ask because you mentioned Lane. Now, obviously Lane was an All-American, so filling those shoes was not going to be a easy task, and I know that can be overwhelming for somebody, especially somebody that's going to be a first-year starter. How did you kind of go into that season, knowing that you had a high standard to live up to, given what Lane did, but not let that consume you to where like you felt like if I wasn't at an All-American level, that I'd be letting the team down?
Yeah, I was going out there and let's just play the best I can play, right? I mean, I trust myself enough that I can play with the best of them, and I feel like I had a great year. Like as especially being a first-year starter, I think I had a great year going out there, and I really just kind of trusted myself that I can do it. I don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, kind of deal. So I didn't really care about I'm not really too big on the honors and All-American status and conference championship status. You play good enough, that's going to come to you. So I'm expecting that in the future. This is the way I'm keep trending. So I knew it was going to come eventually. I wasn't looking for anything right off the bat. I'm not an instant gratification kind of guy. I just knew I was going to go out there and play the best football I could, and just trust that I can get it done.
And now that, because Langston, it was your first start. So what kind of were the emotions there? You made it through the redshirt season. You made it to being a backup. You won the position. What kind of was the feeling, the emotions when you took the field against Langston as the starting center?
It was nerve-wracking for sure. Like it's I will say it's different from going in when you're either up by 50 or down by 50. It's a little different going at the end of the fourth quarter game than it is to it's your first fire off of the first quarter. A little bit nerve-wracking, and I definitely played like that too. I was pretty tight. Going back and watching film, I was disappointed in a couple blocks and stuff like that. And it was just I was playing too tight, not loose enough, didn't trust myself. Yeah, I was just really just being too tight, not trusting myself.
And I know you mentioned earlier about the quarterback center relationship. Now, you obviously both Jett and Dawson were big parts of this past year. Both different quarterbacks. So, like, how do you kind of build that relationship with both of them to where when you go out there, you know how Jett wants things, how Dawson wants things. Like, how did you go about building that relationship?
Yeah, a little bit of backstory. Me and Jett actually came on a visit together at UCO. We came on our official visits here together at UCO, and we were actually roommates, like on the official visit. So I already knew who Jett Huff was. I knew he was a gunslinger. I knew he could do what he needed to do, and he ended up committing to Houston. So I kind of just had him, obviously out of my mind, just on to the next quarterback. When I heard Jett was coming back, I was kind of like, "You remember me?" And he's like, "Yeah, you remember me?" I was like, "Yeah." So it just kind of instantly clicked after that, and Jett's my guy. I'll do anything for him. So it was just kind of just adapting to that role. You understand, like that's your guy, so you gotta pour your heart into him, and he's gonna do the same back to me. And with Dawson was the same way. Great guy, wanted the best for me. I wanted the best for him. So it's just kind of once you understand that, stuff gets easy when you're all working towards the same goal and want the same thing for both of you. Like we want the same thing for each other. It makes it really easy to love each other.
Now you mentioned being tight in your first start. I could only imagine the second start, number 2 team in the country, the defending Harlan Hill winner, comes to town, and you guys proceeded to score 57 points against them. Was that a shocker to you all offensively to be able to dominate at that time the number 2 team in the country to that degree? And honestly, I think there was a couple of missed touchdowns that probably could have been like 69 on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Were you all expecting that, or did that kind of catch you all off guard? Like, okay, we knew we were good offensively, but maybe not to this degree.
No, I mean we expected it. If I'm being honest with you, like we was kind of it was a ring or die kind of year. Like we knew we were gonna be good. We didn't have an option to be bad. So it was just kind of like after the first start of Langston, like we were like, okay, yeah, like what we knew we were, we're there, we're legit. So it was just carrying that same mentality into the next week. We didn't care who it was up against. Central Mo was obviously, I mean, they're ranked 2 in the second in the country at the time, coming off of a good playoff run, but we didn't really care. I mean, they had a good defense too. They had some good players. Their nose guard was an older cat, a good returning guy. So I had it in my head that I was going to have a dogfight the whole game. But I mean, I I had no option but to win the dogfight. So I was just telling myself, like, you don't got an option, you just need to win. And you obviously see where that took us. We dominated for 4 quarters against them. So it definitely it worked itself out.
Yeah, what I think was most surprising to everybody who not only watched the game but saw the box score. We put up 57 points in 3 quarters because no one scored in that first quarter. Offensively, how are you all able to turn it on in those last 3 quarters and almost hang 60 points?
Just being consistent. We've been consistent all year. We were definitely working on our tempo. I know that tempo it played a major part into our success last year. Just no team could hang with us for 4 quarters. They couldn't play a complete football game against us. We moved too fast. We were in too good a shape. So that I think that definitely accredited our 4th quarter victories. I mean, you can see the trend carried throughout the entire season, right? So especially off that game, definitely showed that, like, hey, this tempo thing can work, because it was a new type of offense, that new kind of tempo. Curly calling the plays, playing fast, just getting on the ball and rolling. That was a new thing for us, and I think that Central Missouri game definitely set in stone that, like, okay, this is going to work.
And then you mentioned that because, like you said, I mean that was a massive jump from what we were doing the previous year. And you mentioned, you all were in shape. What, like, how much effort and time and like what all went into getting into that kind of conditioning to be able to essentially just run guys ragged?
Yeah, it starts in May. Like, you ask any of the guys, we don't really have an off time. We don't have like a break. We're going year round and not stopping. So we just know it starts right now. We've been playing football since February. So I mean, we're just in the same shape we're going to need to be till then. So just stacking days. It's nothing different we've been doing all year long. So once we get there, we'll know we'll be the best team prepared for it. And we're not really a big running team either. Like, I don't say we condition a whole bunch. We don't just sit there and just run until you puke either. We run plays. We run, 60 plays of practice as fast as we possibly can. So when you're in a game, when you're running a 12-play drive, that 12 plays feels like nothing to you. That 15-play drive feels like nothing to you because you've been doing it. You've been doing it since February. So just the coaches do a great job about just getting us prepared in that aspect.
And then I know going into the Kearney game, when I had talked to Coach Durrell after Central Missouri, he mentioned how Kearney's a big one because you all had not won a road game over a team not named Lincoln or Northeastern State. And the last time you played up there, you had that tough loss where they hit the game-winning field goal. And you all, by that 4th quarter, I mean, I think everybody saw that, watched that game. I mean, their defense was just absolutely spent. How big was that win, and what did that do for you all finally getting that road win over a good football team?
Yeah, that was just another deal of instilling confidence. Like, we had it in our heads that we were going to be winners, we were going to be successful, but that was just kind of just marking a tally off the board as far as that goes. Like, okay, we beat a good team at home. Let's beat a good team away. And we did that. And so that was just kind of like, okay, like, the rest is set in stone. We're going to be good.
And then I want to ask about Fort Hays and Northwest Missouri, because the previous year, the run game against Northwest, it was not there. And I feel like blocking the majority of that game was not there. And then against Fort Hays, I believe it was shut out in that football game up there in Hays, Kansas. So to score, I think, was it 48 against Northwest and then 49 against Fort Hays. And the way you all were able to thoroughly dominate those football teams, what would you say was the biggest difference between the outcome the year prior and the outcome of the games last year?
Hey, I wish I could give you just a cut and dry answer, because I don't know it. It was just kind of like, especially going against Fort Hays first, we ended up playing them first, and we obviously, it was pretty embarrassing what happened the year before at Hays, getting completely shut out. That was a pretty bad, definitely, it was a bad road game. I remember that one, and I don't want to, but we knew coming to home is time for the get back. Like, we just had to, like, we were going to win no matter what, and we were going to stomp them, and we definitely did that. And that was just another confidence booster, because they're a great football team, especially their D-line. They have a great defensive line, and that was just another challenge that we needed to instill the confidence in ourselves that, like, we can play with the best of them out here. And especially going to that Northwest game, everybody knows Northwest is a powerhouse no matter what. They didn't have the best year they've had last year, but they're always upper half of the MIAA and definitely in contending for national rankings, especially their defense too. Their D-line, they pride themselves on it, right? And obviously Coach Dorrell being a former Northwest guy, he's got his connections and he knows how they run stuff over there. So he really gave us that him having confidence in us, I think, in that Northwest game kind of changed the tide too. Because he's like, listen, like, yeah, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're probably faster. Like, but if you guys do this and you do it this way, we're going to win this game. We're going to win it by a lot. And we did. And just kind of the way he has us blocking schemes, just scheming different teams up. That was big. But it all played back into the confidence part of it. Just if we can take these guys out, they're at the top, then there's no one else that can stand in our way for the rest of the season.
And then the Northeastern State game, I have to ask, because I mean that just was a crazy game. It was weird because we come out the games. I think Jalen scored like the first play of the game. I'm like, all right, well, see, this is how it's supposed to be. They get a touchdown, okay, all right, but we respond thinking, all right, it's over. They've had their fun, and then they rattle off like 26 straight or something like that, and then we're down. Was it like 41-14, like late in that first half, and we get the touchdown, and then obviously the second half happens, and we put up like 43 more points at that point. Offensively, how were you all able to regain the form and level of play that was seen the first two drives of the game for pretty much the last two quarters of that football game?
Yeah, that game was a weird one from the whole get-go. We traveled the same day of, so that morning we woke up and drove down and played that night. It was just a weird kind of feeling for an away game. In Northeastern, I'm credit those guys. I mean, obviously they had a string of bad luck for a while, but there's some good players over there. They got a good program, and we knew that going into that they had some guys that they brought in that were good players. And we just, I can say personally, like I was just not playing with a lot of confidence. Like I got beat immediately off the start, and I was like, okay, like these guys are here to play. Like I got to step my game up, and that was kind of the whole theme through the O-line was we kind of had one expectation, and they hit us with another, and they were throwing the kitchen sink at us there as far as defensive schemes and fronts and stuff like that. They were playing to win, and we were just playing to defend. So it definitely showed in the first half that. But I remember at halftime it wasn't a normal halftime. Coach brought us all together in the locker room, was just like, hey, like, you guys bail me out here. Like, I put you guys in a bad position. I didn't get you guys right. I didn't get you guys ready where you needed to be. I just asked for one thing, bail me out here. And we're like, all right, like we got you. And then second half, we kind of came out as a different football team. And obviously they still play up plenty amount of points, and we're in it for most of the game. But we knew we had to flip a switch and just get the job done, and we ended up doing that.
And you mentioned now flipping that switch. So now seeing you all were able to do that, probably play, I won't say the worst first half imaginable, but definitely not what had been shown the previous games. Being able to turn that around and still erase that deficit and win on the road, what did that do for you all at that point in the season?
Yeah, it was just a lot of that was just heart too. Like, I know we started early with having like culture code meetings in the summer and in the spring and stuff like that, and just learning to love each other and learning to have each other's backs. And we really need that for moments like that. Like all of us, our backs are against the ropes, and we're sitting here trying to scramble, trying to find a way to win. But when you can sit there and rely on the guy next to you, like I know Jett was going to throw a good ball, like I know Trail was going to make a good block. I know Contrail was going to make the man miss when he needed to down the field. I knew he was going to do that, and that's just kind of what we learned to trust in each other and just have each other's backs. And so it's just having that instilled in us through having all those culture code meetings and having team gathering and team bonding activities and stuff like that, and just learning to love each other and getting the brotherly aspect of the football game right. It made times like that pretty easy. Now, obviously on the field it was a little bit tougher actually having to go through and do it, but it almost felt natural. Like I almost felt like it was just supposed to happen that way. Just with how we came together like that, and was just able to just get the job done.
And then the Pitt game. Now it didn't go the way that we had wanted. And my main concern after the game was I don't want to repeat of 2022 where we were like 5-2 or 5-3, something like that at that point. And then we kind of had that skid until Central Missouri, and I'm like, well, we got a lot to play for here. Like even if we lost the game, well, we could still make the playoffs at 10-1. So at 10-1. So I'm thinking there's a lot to play for. And I remember seeing the emotion on a lot of your teammates' faces, and it was vastly different from the emotion that I saw in 2022. And so what kind of did you all take away from that game, and how were you all able to not let that loss kind of linger and go into the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we knew going into it, Pitt's a good football team. They always are. They're always a good football team. We knew we had to be on our A game, and really, they outright beat us that game. Like, I don't think we did anything wrong on our aspect of it or played anything wrong on that aspect. I think they played a better football game than we did. They played better 4 quarters of football, and sometimes that happens, right? But no, we knew we couldn't let it linger around. I mean, that's one day out of the week. We had plenty of weeks of football left to go, so we knew we just it sucked. It hurt, definitely, especially having the season we had so far. We were expecting to win out. Like, in our heads, we were going to win the whole thing. Like, we weren't going to lose a game. And losing a game definitely hurt a little bit, but winners don't sit there and just be sad about a loss, right? They take it and they move on and win the next one. So yes, the emotion was there. A lot of definitely sad emotions and stuff like that. But coming back into the next day, it was clean slate. We were on the game for one day, and Monday hit practice. We didn't even know about Pitt.
I did the Missouri Western game. That was a weird game because the conditions were just dreadful. So at that point, I was like, well, it's going to be a low-scoring game. I doubt we hit our 40-something point at win average at that point. And I felt like we were doing well offensively given the circumstances. And then there was the weather delay. Now, I have to – and was this the first weather delay that you have been a part of during your playing career so far?
Definitely college career. I can't remember a time Little League. We had a bad rain delay during Little League and stuff. We were out there doing slip and slide on the field and stuff like that. It definitely wasn't the same kind of weather delay out there now. But I'm a quote unquote professional career of actually playing football. No, that's the first weather delay I've ever been a part of.
And so what was that experience like, kind of being cooped up in that locker room? I think it was 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, it was it definitely weird, but we kept telling ourselves the other team's doing the exact same thing we are. It's not one-sided right now. They're in the same boat we are. Their heads going to the same place like ours is going to, of oh man, this sucks. Don't want to be here. The weather's terrible. I'm starting to get stiff. I was already warm again, but I got to get warm again to go out there and play. They're going through the same thing we are. We just got to do it a little bit better. So we turn into watching film, stretching, using massage guns, not just letting it sit around and kind of just let your head start thinking about stuff and just letting your head get too involved in it. You just stuck immediately to something else, watching film, getting together as a position group, talking about things we can do better when we go back out there, because we knew eventually we're going to have to go back out there and play a football game.
And to their credit, they came out really strong after that weather delay. You kind of pushed you all back against the wall. And I remember talking in the Discord. It was like, I don't know if we can pull this out. It was looking bleak, and then obviously Colby had the punt return defense stiffened up, and then you all had that final drive to tie the game. Now I have to ask, as the center, on that goal line sequence of plays when we were trying to sneak it in there with Dawson, a lot could have gone wrong because the clock is running. Everybody's got to get set. You've got to make sure you get the clean snap to him, and that's a very quick thing because obviously he's trying to fire off the ball. How were you able to execute that without really butchering what could have easily gone south for us?
Yeah, you got my head thinking about that one. I remember that. It's coming back to me now. It was definitely a weird kind of goal line, couple play stand. On one of the times, the ref didn't even spot the ball. I had the ball in my hands and I put it down on the ground and snapped it. The ref never touched the ball to spot it. And I was just like, I was looking around, and I was just like, oh, screw it. Like, the clock's running, we can't go. I just put the ball on the ground and snapped it. And obviously the refs didn't care. I mean, it's like kind of I'm gonna call it life or death situation, but no, it was definitely a weird stand, but it really goes back to like no one ever doubted. Like on the field, like no one out there was like, oh man, we lost this game. Like we're gonna lose this game. No one ever thought like that. We knew we were like, okay, like we're down, but like there's more football left to play. We're gonna win this game. And I remember telling my dad too, like I was like, just trust it, like just believe, have a little bit of belief in you, like we're gonna win this thing. And obviously came out on top. But yeah, that little goal line stand was interesting. I think I might have got an extra like half a yard out of that too, because the ref never came and gave the ball for me. So I'm like, all right, so I put a little extra. I think the ball might have been over the goal line or touching the white line when I snapped it. So it should have been a touchdown off rip.
Okay, yeah, okay. See, I was going to ask about that because I still contend Dawson had got in there the first time and they don't give the signal. And I'm like, oh, we don't have any timeouts. Like, we got to go. And obviously, Missouri Western's doing the right thing on their case. They're gonna lay there and slowly get up. So I feel like I can't remember if it was like Dom or somebody started pulling Missouri Western guys up himself. And I'm like, okay, do we have time to get this set and get this snap off cleanly? And we did, and it took him so long to give the touchdown. I'm like, half his body is in the end zone. Like, what more do we need? And the clock is still running. And I'm like, are they really going to screw us out of this football?
Yeah, man, it kind of blurs out in my mind too. Like it's kind of one of those like you just don't even know what happened. You just at the end of the game, you won. But yeah, I just remember ripping guys off of. I forgot who ran the ball in the first time. Dawson ran the ball and got stuffed. And we're just sitting there rolling around. The clock's rolling. And the next play we went up scoring. That was the one we scored on. The one that the ref didn't spot the ball. I just threw the ball down. Somehow I ended up with the ball. We ended up in our stance. Everyone's yelling at each other like, "Hey, get ready, get set, get set, get set!" And the ball was down, snapped, and we scored. Really that's all it is. I can't remember.
Yeah, because there was a penalty. Because the Missouri Western were arguing something, and it could have been that. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's a false start. But then they said that they were offside. Like, I don't know what's going on. They gave us the touchdown. That's really all I care about. But
that's exactly where my mind was at. I didn't care what happened. I was just glad we scored because it was definitely a cluster for a little bit, just not knowing what's going on.
I was so confused. I'm like, I don't know what I just saw, but it worked in our favor, so I'm gonna just take that. And then you all go on to win that game. Now it was brought to my attention when I talked to Montreal. I think he said both after NSU and that game. Amongst the celebration in the locker room, there was a group that was chilling at their lockers eating fruit snacks. Now I feel obligated to ask because I asked Montreal this, I asked Wesley Hudson this. Now, were you among that group of players that were chilling, eating the fruit snacks after that game, or were you one of the ones that was intently celebrating?
No, I'm hyped. It don't matter. After a game, I'm hyped no matter what. I'm talking with the family and talking with the guys. I don't point any fingers right at who's eating fruit snacks. I love me some fruit snacks here and there, but it's definitely maybe the younger crowd. You made some younger crowd guys, some guys that didn't get much reps in there. They enjoyed the free food, but I mean, I didn't. I was definitely one of those guys too. I mean, they're giving out free food in that locker room. I might as well take it. But
okay, next. Go ahead.
No, you good.
So now it is the fruit snack, the snack of choice. I think Wesley said you got like granola bars in there and fruit snacks and like Rice Krispie treats. So is fruit snacks always just your go-to, or do you mix it up?
For me, I think it was I did two packages of fruit snacks and a thing of Gatorade at halftime. But I did that immediately as I walked in, so I kind of had time to settle by the time I got on the field. But that quick hit of sugar kind of just keeps you awake, right? Doesn't let you crash at halftime. And then once you get playing again, it kind of just burns off quickly. But no, I would both 2-pack at the same time, rip it off, down them, 2 packs, get my Gatorade in, and then just sip on some water for the rest of it. But I would say fruit snacks are definitely the hit. Fruit snacks are for sure the hit. Sometimes they have Rice Krispie treats too, though. Rice Krispie treats are definitely in the running for top snack, but it would be fruit snacks for sure.
Okay, now when you say you had 2 fruit snacks, like are we eating one at a time, or do you have like both open and you're eating both at the same time?
Come on, man. I'm an offensive lineman. you got to say I'm eating 2 individual fruit snacks. Come on, man. No, that's 2 packets straight down. It's probably a couple seconds.
Okay, but like how do you not choke on that? Because I mean, you've got 2 packets like coming in there, like you still got to chew them though.
It's kind of like another. I'm still hyped from a football game. I'm coming in off of playing a half of football. It just kind of just goes down. It just is what it is. I don't really think about it much. But
so you never choke with eating the 2 packs of fruit snacks at the same time.
No, I gotta be careful with my words here, but no, it's just goes down pretty easy.
Okay. I'm just because I mean, like I know that they're soft, but like you still got to So okay. Now, do you have like a favorite flavor of the fruit snack? Some it's orange, some it's whatever the other colors are. Do you have a favorite though?
No, man, whatever they give me, it's all free. So whatever they give me that I don't got to pay for, I'll eat it.
Okay, now does the same apply to the Gatorade, or do you have a specific flavor that you like the most?
No, that's the same boat. You can ask anybody. I've never really been a picky eater. Like, I don't care about like no flavor difference, nothing. Like I'll eat or drink whatever you give me, kind of deal. So like I don't got no preference. Some guys are in there like oh, I don't want a apple cinnamon Nutri-Grain bar. I want the strawberry Nutri-Grain bar. I'm like, bro, it's a Nutri-Grain bar. Just eat the bar. Like, don't be just eat it, dude. Like, oh, this is blue Gatorade. I want red Gatorade. Just drink the Gatorade. It's not a big deal. It all does the same thing.
Okay, now I don't know which position group is the worst about that. See, I feel
D-line.
like really.
Man,
see, I was thinking like the defensive backs or receivers, but
no, it's just defense in general. I'm an offensive guy, right? But it's just the defense. They just always be whining about some things and just wanting stuff to be perfect and wanting the right flavors of stuff. No, man, just eat the fruit snacks. It's the defense, though, for sure.
Yeah, I would not have suspected it was the defensive line. Okay. Oh, well, okay. That is
honestly, now that you bring it up, yeah, the DBs are probably ahead of the D-line. The DB is a little soft, but it's defense. Just put defense together as a group. The linebackers are definitely the toughest as far as that goes, but it just trickles down from there.
I feel like it was just the DBs. Like I just giving some of the guys that room, I could feel like they kind of probably
they got some sass to them. They got some attitude, some sass to them. So
that's what I'm saying. I was surprised we listed the D line first. I was like, okay, I did not expect that, but yeah, no, the DB is that definitely tracks. I mean, I Mosley, Jake. Yeah, I mean, it kind of it tracks. It's not surprising anybody. So. Okay. And now after that Missouri Western, you have Washburn. I had the honor of going to that game, and not going to lie, at the very end of that game, if you had told Chris Brennick and I that field goal was going to be blocked, I think we would have been called liars. But that field goal was blocked, and I remember like the initial reaction, like you all just. You stormed the field the best you can as a road team. But what was that emotion like? Because I know you said earlier that like this was a do or die season, and here you've at least clinched a share of the conference, pretty much assured yourself a playoff berth. What kind of was going through your mind once that clock hit 0-0 and that field goal was blocked?
Yeah, it was just ecstatic, but it just kind of goes back to just not losing any trust. Like the field goal had to be blocked, right? So we all knew it was going to be blocked. Like I can't really explain it to you, just the feeling of that, but it's like we didn't have an option. We didn't have an option not to block it, because if we didn't, we were going to lose the football game, and we were definitely not going to lose the football game. We're going to make sure of it. So it was just constant belief. Like I was sitting there now praying and just kind of just asking God just to kind of be with us there in that moment, kind of deal. But no, I had faith through it all. It was going to happen for sure.
And then the following week, you all just, what they call what it is, you all just beat the brakes off of Emporia, which I think everybody involved appreciate that, because I was asked numerous times in the pregame, are we going to get the team in the first half of the season, or we were just beating the brakes? People were going to get the one from the last handful of weeks. And I said, well, Coach Doyle feels like we're going to get the one from the first half of the season. So if we get that, I think we'll be fine. And we did get that. Now, obviously, the game was decided well before the final whistle. But once you all kind of realized that, like, we're going to win the thing outright, and you finally, that the commissioner handed you all the trophy, and you got to hold the trophy, what was going through your mind then?
Yeah, it was kind of like we knew going into it that, like, if we lost, we'd be like co-champions or something like that. If we'd win, we'd be outright champions. And it was another one of those moments that was just it was another one of those moments. Sorry, I lost you there. I don't know what happened. One of those. What the heck? Sorry about that.
You good?
Computer, man. No, it was one of those moments that it was we ain't no one want to be like co-conference champions. Like, that doesn't sound. You're not gonna put co-conference champion on a hat or a T-shirt and wear that around proud. Like no one wants to be co-anything. So it was just, we were going to win it. Like, it's just, we had to go out there and we had to win that football game, especially against Emporia too. Because Emporia, they think they own Oklahoma, like especially Oklahoma high school recruiting. For some reason, Emporia thinks that it's Emporia, Oklahoma. They want everything from Oklahoma, and we weren't about that. And for some reason, every year that I've been here, we always have more than one Emporia State, either former player or former coach on coaching staff. I mean, Coach Pat was a quarterback at Emporia. Coach Swanson played at Emporia. We had I think it was a DBGA. He was from Emporia, played at Emporia. We always have someone on staff and around that was at Emporia. And so they always just bring that little bit extra of like, let's get after him. Like, and they always hype us up a little bit more because for some reason they want to beat their alma mater so bad, more than anything in the world. And they do everything they can do to make sure we beat them. And I appreciate it, obviously, but no, Emporia is always that game you got a little cricket in your neck going into it that, like, it's going to be a dogfight, but we're going to win.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were happy that you won to that degree too, because I, along with many other people, felt like the coverage from people, not myself or Chris Brannick, for you all wasn't as good as it should have been. I felt like a lot of it wasn't genuine, to be honest. I felt it was like, well, you know, you're bad. We have no choice but to cover these guys. And so I was like, I'm glad we got on Fox 25, like Kobe and our AD and all that. But I'm like, it doesn't feel sincere to Oklahoma. They come to the games, but I'm like, it's not feeling like the questions being asked. I'm like, if you followed, you wouldn't be asking these questions. And then you open up the sports page and there's a blurb about, Gunnar Gundy and Emporia. And I'm like, okay, but now you can't put what Brannick sends you every week. So, I mean, in that first quarter when the beatdown was happening and I can't say that it didn't feel extremely good, but I did kind of feel bad for Gunnar at a certain point. I'm like, dang, because I don't think he asked for this, but we definitely did very much enjoy that win. Now, unfortunately for you all, I guess fortunately, I don't know, because you all had to get ready to play Washita Baptist like the next week. So you really couldn't celebrate too much. How were you all able to kind of quickly put that historic moment behind you and get ready for a playoff game? Yeah,
I always say the coaches definitely let us like enjoy the moment. Like you guys just made history. Like you guys made history. Let's live in the moment just a little bit. Like, let's have a good time. Let's enjoy what's around us. We didn't talk about Washita much until that Monday. They wanted us to kind of just understand the accomplishment that we just set out after and what we accomplished for the school history. And so that was really cool of them. But obviously we put ourselves in that position to play extra weeks of football. And so, I mean, that was from the get-go that we had that mindset we were going to be there no matter what. So it was pretty easy. We were super excited and super happy that we accomplished what we wanted to, but it was because of that work that we got to play extra weeks of football. And so we had that mindset that it was kind of like, it was awesome, but it wasn't done yet. We knew we had more weeks of football to play. We weren't done yet. So it pretty easy transition.
And I was really glad that you all got that home playoff win just because it had been so long, and I felt like it would have been unfortunate if it was a one and done thing. And I gotta give Washington credit. I mean, they didn't go away, went to overtime. You all were able to win that football game. What was the mood after that game? Now knowing, okay, we won the conference, we won a playoff game. Like what kind of was the vibe like?
Yeah, that Washita game was really fun. Oh, I would say that's probably one of the funner games I've been in. It was super competitive. Both sides are really good football teams. Washita, credit them. They're always a top team in the GAC conference. They had some really good football players, especially on the D line. The 2 interior D linemen were fifth-year seniors, both very good football players and stuff like that. So we knew we had our hands full as far as that week goes. But it was just kind of a continue the mission type thing. You can our whole thing last year was Charlie Mike. We always said Charlie Mike. That just kind of stood for continue the mission, and it was just another mission to check off the board. Right? It's just we had to beat them to go to the next round of playoffs. So we just trusted ourselves. We trusted our preparation for it, and we went in there and played football, and it worked out in our favor for sure.
And then the next week, you go out to Ferris, and I mean, the conditions could not have been worse. I don't know. Was that the first snow game that you had played in?
If that's what a snow game is, then yes, it's absolutely the first snow game I ever played in. There's obviously been some flurries, and it's been cold and stuff like that, but I would say that's the coldest I think I've ever been in my life, for sure. But yeah, you're right. The conditions really couldn't have been any worse.
And how tough was that for you? I remember talking to PD, and I think it was Wesley and Trell, and it was like you couldn't get any kind of grip. It just like the footing was bad. It just like, and obviously, I mean, never having really played in that before. Yeah, we're automatically at a disadvantage. And obviously, playing a team of Ferris' caliber that went on to win the whole thing was doubly tough. But when you look back on that, what was an experience playing in that type of weather like?
Yeah, the whole trip as a whole, it was like a lifetime kind of experience. Like I had so much fun getting to travel on the plane with the guys. A lot of the guys, it was their first time flying, period. So that was hilarious seeing that. They're all scared and stuff. That was awesome. Just being there a couple of days before, getting to hang out in the hotel, eat good food, just kind of just be around the guys for that extended period of time, especially in a state. I've never been to Michigan before, so it was cool to go there and see that kind of environment. And we kind of we had to suck it up just a little bit. When we got there, it was kind of like, okay, this is really cold. It's not like Oklahoma, winter cold. This is different type of cold. So we had a little bit of time to prepare ourselves, but I don't think anyone can actually prepare themselves for what they're getting into. But we sure tried. We weren't wearing any t-shirts outside. We're just wearing t-shirt and shorts outside, trying to be tough and just get ourselves ready for it. We didn't wear no hoodies or nothing like that. We really tried to kind of get acclimated to it as fast as we could, but it's kind of hard to prepare yourself for something like that. And as far as the game goes, Trail and Wesley hit it on the head. There was no footing. I don't know if they had special cleats or special spikes or something in their cleats, but for some reason they could just play how they were just playing differently. They could just do something differently than what we were doing, obviously. But no, it was a very fun time. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Being there with the guys and having the season that we did, it was obviously kind of a sucky way to end it, but it was a good time. It was fun.
Now Delso didn't try to tell you. I mean, he came from Eastern Michigan. I feel like he could have tried to provide some insight. He just didn't do anything.
Delso's coat was the biggest coat there. He had the most layers on and the biggest coat there. He can talk about Eastern Michigan, whatever, this and that, bro, but maybe he was the smart one. Maybe he was the smart one by wearing the biggest coat and the most layers and stuff. Who knows? But no, he wasn't any extra tough than anybody else out there for sure.
he didn't even tell you all what you could possibly be expecting. Just he just I guess they'll find out when they get off the plane. I mean,
I'll tell you, bro. If he told somebody, he didn't tell me. I'll tell you that he did not tell me. So maybe he should have spread the wealth a little bit more. But
that's tough. I mean, that's tough.
I have to call Delso about that one, bro. You kind of put that in my mind now. Like he was holding out on us.
I mean, man was there for 2 years. I mean, that's good boy. That's just cold blooded. I mean, he's gonna leave the team high and dry like that. Okay, that's wow. Okay. You know a guy. I mean, I get he was the hero the week prior, but you can still give somebody a heads up about the cold, man. That's wow.
Yeah, okay. No, I actually had a youth pastor who moved to Manistee, Michigan. It's not too actually far there from Big Rapids where we were playing at. It's right there on the coast. So I was talking to him like, I'm going to your neck of the woods kind of deal. And he was just like, have fun. Like, that's really all I could say about it was like, have fun. It's like, it's just different there. Cause he's an Oklahoma boy too. He's from Oologah too. He was there his whole life and then took a job in would have been Eastern Michigan. And dude, he was just like, get ready. Like, it's different for sure.
Oh, that's one of the games. I'm like, you know what? I would love to have been there, but I'm also glad watching this on ESPN3 in the nice room.
Yeah, no. You ask my girlfriend the same question, she'll say the same answer you just gave too. If it's 75 degrees inside the house, she's got a blanket on. So it's just, you can imagine how that went out there at negative whatever it was.
Oh no! So then, how bad is it for you, like in the summer at that point, though? Because like, if it can't go below 75,
I'm like, you can always get warmer. You can't ever get colder. Like if you're cold, put a blanket on. Eventually, if you just keep taking layers off because you're too hot, you just end up getting naked. So like, just come on.
That is great. That's tough. 75. Yeah. That boy. Okay, I can't do more than
trust
that.
me. I keep everything about 60, 68, 69. That's the sweet spot right there.
Yes. I 100% agree. I feel like anything more than like if you were at 71, we're pushing it.
Yeah, that's kind of anywhere we go. Like we'll go to my uncle's house. Like we all my family goes to my uncle's house. He's got like 74 on the thermostat. The first thing we do, we walk in. My dad goes to the thermostat, boom, down to like 67 just to get the house extra cool for him. And it kind of just goes. It's that mentality that kind of just goes with us wherever we go. Like you're going to go there. You're going to be hot, so you're going to make sure you're in a good environment.
No, yeah. I mean, you can't like not be comfortable with where you're at. No. I mean, no. I don't.
You're going to save any less money than you're already spending, kind of deal. Why not just be comfortable?
Right. You know what I mean? Like if you said like how could you even enjoy what you're saving if you're not comfortable? So no, I 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, we're on the same page. Like, yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Especially now, like I'm living in a house off campus too. So I mean, I'm paying like quote big boy bills now, and it's kind of like I'm not saving any money from being comfortable to not comfortable. So I'm just going to live how I want to live, and then we'll just sort stuff out later.
Exactly. See, I knew there was a reason I like Gabe. You know something about what this man he knows. And look at this. Like I said, we have good people within that program right there. Example A right here. See?
Yeah, there you go. That's Cho's. Go Cho's.
Right. Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah, see, he knows. Now when you look back on this past season, did it exceed your expectations? Did it meet them? How do you kind of feel like you did this past season?
I'm going to use like exceed my expectations like a little bit loosely because obviously like I expect a lot out of myself, and we as a team expected a lot out of the season. But I couldn't really ask for any better season, especially with a better group of guys to do it with. Everybody on the team is super close. I'll do anything for any one of them kind of deal. So it exceeded my expectations in that aspect, but it didn't meet my expectations in the fact that we didn't win at all. Right, we got beat second round of playoffs, and we didn't expect that to happen. We were just kind of gold ball or nothing kind of deal. So it definitely, we were definitely grateful for the season we had, more or less than anything. We just grateful to spend the good time with the guys and make it as far as we did, and we didn't let that go away just because we lost out and didn't end up being the champions. We were still able to be happy and be excited about what we accomplished throughout the whole season for the university.
And then this offseason, you all had a very unique experience getting to play another team for the spring game, the Southern Nazarene game. I was at that game. People I didn't ask me like did I feel like with the offensive losses and losses in general, like did I feel like we take this massive step back? So I don't envision it, but I can better tell you after that Southern Nazarene scrimmage. And I know you all only played one quarter, but offensively you scored on 2 of the 3 drives. I thought you picked up where you all had left off from. How do you feel like you all did as a unit and you individually, not only during that spring game but during the spring as a whole?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to judge, obviously, just kind of off a spring game like that, just because you're going to make mistakes, right? Nothing's going to be perfect or set in stone. Like, and that's the time to make the mistakes. That's the time to try different things and make mistakes. So we knew in our head it wasn't going to be a perfect game whatsoever. But as far as like picking up where we left off, I feel like whoever we lost, we had a guy right there to step up and play at the same exact high level. And like as a team, we trusted that guy to step up and play at a high level too. I mean, not receiver position, losing TD or whatever, stuff like that. But we still love TD. TD's still our guy. But we have guys like Hagen Hacker and Ashton Schumann that are going to keep stepping up. They're going to keep getting better and better. They're going to get better than they did last year. So we kept that in mind too. Like Jett's still here. He's going to be even that much better than he was last year. For me, it's just another year under my belt. I'm going to be better than I was last year because I'm just getting more experience. Trell, Mac, Rob, all those guys, Adam on the O-line, all those guys are just going to be that much better the next year because they're all staying around. So I knew wherever we whatever we thought we lost or whoever media outsourced or something thought we lost, we were going to be right back up there with people coming in. So it was high hopes with that. As far as spring game stuff, like I said, it was kind of spring game's a trial and error kind of thing. We can't set anything in stone. I thought it was a little bit sloppy, obviously, a little bit sloppy in the play. Just wasn't playing tight like we were last year, like just playing good and fast and stuff like that. But again, it's the springtime. We're not in normal season shape and not buttoning down like the hatches like we need to for the season. But I think where we were at, it was definitely a good experience for those guys that we need to step up for that like second offensive line for the left guard position right now. We're sitting here battling and stuff like that. For the guys who are sitting there battling for positions, that stuff like that's a great time for those guys to get comfortable, especially at the receiver position, like trying to pick up where we left off the season like that. Because we had a great receiving core last year, losing Jake and TD and stuff like that. We got to just step up that much more. So that was a great outing for those guys, especially that were asked to step up and asked to play at a higher level to fill the shoes that they were in. But it was more or less just fun. It was a great time. I love watching the young cats, like the young cats, the threes in there, just fighting it out. Because a lot of those guys haven't played football. Honestly, a lot of those guys haven't played football in over a year. So just like them be out there back on the field in the pads was just kind of cool to see and cool for those guys just to experience that, especially against another team, not just us.
Hey, you mentioned the young guys. I was going to ask because now you're a upperclassman now, and so with that comes more expectations from a leadership standpoint. You mentioned, I think you said Cameron Brannick is one of the other centers. Like, how can you go about, succeeding in a leadership role, making sure that those guys feel supported, and that you're, leading to the best of your ability?
Yeah, I've been blessed enough to be on leadership council too for the past couple semesters and stuff like that from a team aspect. But from an O-line aspect, Coach Doral has really trusted me a lot more and kind of put more on my plate. especially after last season, starting all the games and stuff like that, and kind of being the set in stone starter. It's just like, okay, it's a next step in your progression as a man, just to become that kind of next level human to those other guys. So he's put a lot more on my plate as far as like mentoring those guys and just making sure they're batting down the hatches. Like if they don't know something, it's because I didn't teach them that. And so it kind of everything always kind of falls back to me on that aspect. And I love the pressure like that. I love people trying to expect stuff out of me, so I get to meet those expectations. So I'm very thankful that Coach Jewell does that for me, and I'm able to kind of do the same thing that Lane did to me when I was a young guy. I want to be that guy for other people that kind of just get them ready and get them where they need to be. But but yeah, like Cameron Brannicky, David Smithwick, Demondre, Joe, all those like young cats we got coming in, freshmen, like they're all great guys, great dudes. And so I want to make sure that I want them to have fun, right? Like I want them to enjoy their time at UCO. I want them to be kind of fruitful with that. I want them to play one day. I want them to start. I want them to have a better experience than I had, and I've had a great one. I'm just wanting them to really excel. So it's just kind of cool to see, because when I'm a young cat and guys like Lane and Kellen are doing that for me, it's just kind of a natural progression that I get to pour into younger guys like they poured into me.
Well, before we get you out of here, we do this with all the new guests, kind of some more get to know you type questions. So your favorite sports team can be any sport.
I'm not much of an NFL football guy, if I'm quite frank with you. I watch it. My family likes the Cowboys, some like the Chiefs, stuff like that. Not too much NFL. I grew up a Sooner, grew up an OU Sooner fan. Like I said, I didn't play basketball, so I never watched basketball. But I was kind of a floater out there. Like I just watched whatever was out there. I didn't have any ties to anything. That's what I kind of liked. I wasn't tied down to anything. I know some guys are like, especially Cowboys fans, like they're stuck in a hole because they suck every year kind of deal. But I never got too low. Because I wasn't tied to them like that. I was like, oh man, Cowboys are bad. Let's hop on the bandwagon to Kansas City. I wouldn't call myself a bandwagoner, but I was like, I was just a fan of the game, a fan of football, fan of wrestling, fan of baseball, basketball, softball. No matter what it was, I was just a fan of sports. Just like watching competition.
Okay. Now, do you have a favorite player at all?
Yeah, Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey's kind of been a guy I've kind of modeled my game after, being an Oklahoma cat, playing at OU and stuff like that, and going to the Chiefs and being center. Just being able to kind of see a guy coming from where I'm coming from and doing the same thing I'm doing, someone I can model my game after, especially because he played it at such a high level. And so I can just kind of try to model my game after and just kind of be that nasty kind of guy he was. He was just a tough cat. And that's what it kind of boiled down to. So I just got to I'm trying to model that mentality and that attitude of just being tough, just being gritty, and the rest of the stuff will fall in line. Obviously he's huge, right? He's huge. He's a big, strong guy, but he's just a nasty player. So just kind of learning to adapt that and just adapt that to my game. He's been a big player I've looked up to.
Okay. Let's see. Your favorite hobby outside of football?
Man, I like a lot of motorsport stuff, like dirt bikes and four-wheelers and side-by-sides and stuff like that. And we got a couple of our own back home, so we'll go on trips and stuff like that. I'm a big outdoors guy too. Love to hunt and fish and just hang out with buddies and stuff like that. I'm not too like one big hobbyist. I kind of like to do it all. I'm kind of guy that likes to try new stuff, but just a lot of outdoor stuff, like being outdoors, and love to waterfowl hunt, like to duck hunt a lot, especially during that time, like to dove hunt. Yeah, just any outdoor activity I'll be down for.
Now, duck hunting is something that I find very interesting, because I think don't you all like mimic what's that bird hunting? I just one where they like you like mimic the the sounds to attract them out. And,
yeah,
now, that stuff.
We try. Well, at least I try. Some people are much better at it than I am, but no, I'm a pretty good shot. Like I can make my shots kind of deal, but I haven't got the calling quite down yet. But we got some guys on the team that are pretty like Ben Harmon, Joey Javier, those guys like that. They got the quacking down. That's how you go with stuff like that. Jack Puckett, those guys. Noah West came with us quite a bit last year and stuff like that. So it's just those guys hold it down as far as that goes. But I'm a pretty good shot, so I can knock them down as far as that.
Now, within that group, would you say you're the best shot, or is there somebody that's a better shot?
Yeah, of course, I'm the best shot, right? So yeah. No, I miss him just like everybody else does, but I like to think I'm pretty good.
Okay. And having that time with those guys, like away from the facility, hunting, doing something that you all like. What does that do for you all? Chemistry wise and personally, still being able to connect with each other, but in a non-football setting.
Yeah, it is. I think that's kind of the biggest difference too. Like that kind of makes or breaks because like these guys are your new family. Like I see these guys more than I see anybody. Like I see them more than I see my parents, my girlfriend, anybody in my family whatsoever. Like these guys take that role. So I can either kind of like be sad about it or something like that, and I'm missing people, or I can just adapt to it. Like my first group of guys I kind of drawn to is Andrew Carney, Ben Harmon, and Mason Mitchell. Like those were kind of my guys. We got a house together, stuff like that. So just started the bond with them. Then it branched out, like Jack Puckett and Joey, and now Hank and Noah and Adam and Cam and all those kind of guys. It just branches out. So I think that's the biggest difference too. Like we really take an emphasis on like just loving each other, man. Like I'll do anything for anybody. And I think that shows a lot in how we play our game too. Like I'll do anything for Trell, Rob, Mac, Adam, Turner, like any of those guys, just because of like what we do off the field. Like earlier this week or last Tuesday, I had like 40 guys running through my house, and I was on the grill for probably 2.5 hours back there. I cooked over probably 10 pounds of chicken and hot dogs and bratwurst and stuff like that. Coach Doral hooked me up a little bit on the meat side of things, but we had probably 40 guys over from the team just hanging out, like just hanging out. We were watching old games from last year on the TV, playing music, just shooting it, just having a good time, eating food. And I think that really excels our game to the next level. Just learning to love each other, because I know when we hang out with each other like that, we'll be with each other in the hard times too.
Now you say you were throwing down on the grill. Or in normal circumstances, when you're not cooking 10 pounds of meat, what do you like to throw on the grill?
I'm like a lazy cook. Like when I cook, like I feel like I cook good. Like when I cook, I do it right. But also the DoorDash app is open, right? And like the Mo Bettas is just down the street. I can hit up kind of deal. So I definitely have my fair share of just like lazy meals, but I like to think I can cook a little bit.
Okay, now if someone came to you and said, "Cook me your best meal," what would that meal be?
It'd probably be on the grill. I can grill some good chicken, grill a steak or something like that. Throw some garlic mashed potatoes together. Maybe do some asparagus or something like that. I'll do like a country meal, like some mashed potatoes, steak, something like that. There's something that I know I can get it done right.
Okay, now when we eat the steak, are we going rare, medium rare, or well done?
Medium rare. I like it hot and fast. You got to have a super high heat. Get that crust. I like the crust on the outside. You got to have a crunch when you bite into it. Not like a burnt, but you need to have a good crust, a good burn, or pink inside. That's a good steak right there. Okay,
now do we have a favorite cut of steak?
Yeah, I'm a ribeye guy. I like the fat. I like the fat in it. Just makes it a lot more juicier.
Okay, fair enough. Now do you game at all?
I actually didn't pick up playing video games until in the dorms my freshman year of college. It was like that's all I did. Like that's literally what everybody did was just play video games. So I was like, okay, like I feel weird just sitting here watching people play, so I got to start playing. I obviously play a little bit of Call of Duty like every once in a while in high school, and you can ask my parents or anything. Like I did not like play video games like that. I didn't click with me. I was always doing something outside or something like that. So my first game I picked up was Fortnite. I started playing Fortnite a lot because that's what everybody was on at the time, and then it transferred into Warzone and stuff like that, and then transferred into Madden and that kind of such. So I play it now, but definitely not to the level that some of these guys are playing on. It's every night.
Now, when you do play, are you Xbox, PlayStation, or PC?
I got an Xbox. I got it in 2017. It's Madden Edition, Xbox One S. It's old school, but it gets the job done.
Okay, now, this is news because I think it's like Coach Curley. So it's like just like two other people that on the team that I know are Team Xbox. Everybody else, for the most part, is PlayStation. So why are you Team Xbox?
I think it's just because what I have. Like it's PlayStation people are easy to get triggered when you start hating on their PlayStation and stuff like that. So I just play that role of the bad guy. Like and honestly, I could care less. If I'm being honest with you, I could care less about Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, that. I don't care. But for some reason, PlayStation people get triggered the hardest. So I definitely play that role of just talking my stuff to them and making them feel it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Now, when it comes to the Madden, now I've been asking this question, I feel like, for a couple of years now. Now, when I would talk to Jonathan Mosley, he would claim he was the best Madden player on the team, had a specific playbook that just would win outright every time.
Man, Jonathan,
I know, and I ask everybody this question: Is that true? Like, do you can you confirm that's true? Is it half true? Is it not true?
I can't confirm or deny it because I've never played him like that. But who I do know is a stud at Madden and like who has just whipped me up and down and has everybody he plays he beats. Zach Stillwell. Zach Stillwell he's a guy at Madden. Like he's like that. He's good. So I can just speak to who I know is the best that I've played, obviously, and it's Zach.
Okay, yeah, because I know. I think Rob's name has come up as well.
Rob's really good too.
No one has ever said Mosley except for Mosley himself. So I keep trying to ask to see if someone can corroborate what he's saying because we're going on like 2 years now, and no one has echoed the sentiment. So I
think you said it yourself. The only one that says it was Jonathan himself. I think that's a pretty common theme right there that you should just kind of trust and stick with.
I try to give, I'm hoping, because we have to say, man, I want to give the man a benefit of the doubt. Maybe somebody can corroborate this because, first he had claimed he was the swaggiest on the team, which then people haven't. There's some gave it to him, most didn't give it to him. Then you asked about that, and no one gives it to him, and I'm like, this is looking bad for you, man. Like, I'm trying to verify this, but it's just,
there's a lot of talking for sure.
Is it okay? Is it your favorite musical artist?
Ooh, I like to consider myself like a connoisseur of music. Like I love music, right? But I really do. I truly love all genres of music. I can get down to anything. I kind of like indie rock, like some funk, a little bit of jazz, stuff like that. Just kind of get your head going, get like a little bit rocking, stuff like that. But right now I listen to a lot of country music, so a lot of like Red Clay Strays and Flat Lane Cavalry and Turnpike, those kind of guys. A lot of country artists, but also do like some smaller bands like Penelope Road and just like Tom Holland. There's a lot of smaller bands, just rock and roll bands. But when I say, I know a guy said all the time they listen to everything. I truly do listen to everything and really just like music as it is.
Okay. So do you have a favorite song?
Yeah. I think my number one song is probably "Call Me the Breeze" by Leonard Skinner. I like kind of old rock and roll, some Leonard Skinner, Eagles stuff like that. Some Foreigner. That's kind of what I grew up on with my dad and stuff. But "Call Me the Breeze" by Leonard Skinner. That was my pregame song. I had to hear that at least 3 or 4 times every game day, on the bus, off the bus, walking to the bus, in the truck. No matter where I was at, I was listening to that song, and it just kind of it makes a feel good song. It gets your head going, gets you moving, it gets you right.
Okay, that answered my next question. Now, In terms of the aux, I've been told numerous times, not a place for the weak. Phone will get yanked if the
No.
vibe is not met. Have you been on the aux before and that's happened to you?
Only when I'm the only one in the locker room and my phone plugged in to the aux. that's the truth too, because it's ruthless. I promise you, it's ruthless. They'll let you know. Anyone will let you know what they think about your music choice at any given time. So I just learned to accept whatever is playing through the speakers, and I rock with it and I roll with it, unless it's really just that bad. I know Lamb Gordon, he'll play some stuff where you're like, all right, bro, like you gotta knock it off. You gotta get this off the speakers, and people let him know it for sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, because I normally ask, who's the best, who's the worst, and Lamb's name comes up almost every time.
It's just out of pocket. Like he just plays. It's just such a mood switch too. There's no consistency. There's no rhyme or reason. He plays his own songs. He's got like a collection of like own songs that he's got that he'll play over and over and over again. And I'm supportive and all. I love him to death, but like, come on, he can't do all that. Like, worst, I'll put Lamb there because that he tries to. Like he's a guy like he wants his phone on the aux. Like he fights for it. He wants his phone up there, but people just they let him have it.
And see, I hear that, but then I'm like, but see, I feel like that just fits Lamb though. I feel like there's some guys that just make
100%.
sense. Right?
Yeah, that's just him. Like that's just his mentality. That's his attitude. That's just him.
Okay, so aside from Lamb, who then would you say would be next in terms of worst on the aux?
In terms of worst on the aux, I feel like everyone has their rough times, right? Like Rob is normally pretty good on the aux. Robert Givens, he's pretty good, but he goes through some spills where it's like, all right, like nah. Who else? Some Deuce would get on the aux quite a bit. David Williams would get on the aux. I wouldn't say anyone's like necessarily bad. I'll say Lamb's bad. Like I'll say that outright. His songs it's not very good, but a lot of the times it's just going through some rough spells.
Okay, wait. Now, you said David gets on the aux?
David Williams will throw a phone on the aux every once in a while.
Oh, well, see, now the man lied to me.
Okay, or at least he's up there throwing out songs and wanting songs to be played. I'm a little bit far from the aux cord on that. I can just see with my eyes who's up there typing in phones and stuff. But no, D will get turned up a little bit. Most of the time it's Rob though. Rob's the guy who his phone's probably on the aux more than anyone's.
Okay. And now I don't know if you can confirm this though. Back in 2022, I talked to your former teammate Bryson Williams. Now he had informed me there was a morning workout one day, and your former running back Jace Gardner, I think he said it was like 9 a.m. or something like that, had put on some R&B Drake in the weight room. Now I don't know, were you there when that occurred? I just am curious because like I'm not sure what the logic is.
Yeah, I can't remember if I did. I probably wasn't there, honestly. But I will say everything gets played in the locker, like in the weight room. Like we'll have country days. We'll have just like slow, like R&B type days. We'll have like death metal, like blow your head out days. We'll have hardcore, like just I'll have like street rap type stuff. I have old school rap type stuff. Like everything gets played. Like even like some classical stuff, like I don't know, we'll listen to pop, like K-pop type stuff, just some Miley Cyrus, doesn't matter what it is, we'll get it rolling in there.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now, in terms of the gear, now I know you have a towel, but outside of that, I think you have gloves. I think either the gloves or your hands or tape, one of the two. Are you more of like I just need the bare necessities and let me go out there and play, or do you need all the bells and whistles like most of the DBs have to have?
Yeah, I would call myself definitely more of a minimalist. I definitely care how I look, right? But yeah, I don't wear gloves. I do the finger tape. I tape like every knuckle. in between. It kind of just supports it. It's easier to grip the ball and snap it and stuff like that. And I tried the whole like wearing a glove on your offhand, and it just feels weird. Threw it off. I'm like, all right, just scrap it. I'll just tape my fingers up, play like that. So I think that looks kind of cool. So I'll take that as what you call drip or whatever. But I definitely have to have a towel. I'll throw a calf sleeve on or an arm sleeve every once in a while, but it's definitely not a necessity if that's what it's getting to. Yeah, some of them DBs or something like that, they have to make sure they put on if they're not going to play good.
So now, what necessitates you putting on the sleeve compared to not putting the sleeve on?
If it's hot, it ain't going on. I'll tell you that. Like if it's hot game day, it ain't going on. And right now, I tore my elbow in the Nebraska-Kearney game. So like I started the season without an elbow brace, and after the Nebraska-Kearney game, I played the rest of the season with that big old arm brace on. So that I kind of counted that as my drip too. Like that's just a part of the get up now. So it's everything I got is functional, but I want to functionally look good.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. Do you have any pregame routines that you normally do?
Not really routines, more or less like just listening to Call Me the Breeze. Like when I pull out of the house, if it's an early morning driving to the bus, I pull out of the house, Leonard Skinner goes on. I walk into the locker room before game. It's your first time in the locker room. Leonard Skinner goes on. It's just kind of I would say that's what I do consistently. But no, I always tape my hands a certain way. I always tape my wrists a certain way, tape my ankles a certain way. It's just I got stuff I do certain ways, but that's just out of just like habit kind of deal.
Okay. I guess my final question for you is what can UCO's fans expect to see out of Gabe Grazier this upcoming season?
Really just grow as a player. Like I feel like I had a pretty good year last year, especially coming in my first year as a starter. I definitely had some ups and downs going through the year, but I feel like as a whole, I did pretty good. Just growing. Like I've just grew my game to the next level. I've matured a lot. I call myself an old head now. I feel like an old head. I've been here for a while, been around the team for a while, and so now it's just kind of my turn to take that role as being the old guy and being the leader. So just kind of expect way more leadership out of me. Expect a better gameplay, and I'll be up there in some postseason honors. I promise you.
Well, Gabe, I appreciate you taking time this evening to come on and talk to us. I'm wishing you the best of luck the rest of the off season into fall camp, and any time you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you having me on for real.